Welcome back to Where Did I Put My Glasses? And I am your host, Carmen. And today we are going to talk about this new season, this new format of the podcast, of course, and this new version of me. Um, we are going to dive into transitions, right? Specifically, my career shift and solo podcasting, right? This is new for me. I am nervous, so be gentle. And figuring life out one blurry step at a time. As you guys know, if you are a returning listener and if you are a new listener, I've had recurring guests, which I enjoyed talking to and those random conversations. And then I had my co-host, Cincy, who I love just having those random conversations with. And we just were a duo. She's a great friend of mine, and I enjoy talking to her. And then it just made sense for us to do this together. Um, but then it just wasn't working for both of us, and I lost that joy of podcasting. I tried having another co-host, and I've tried so many ways to dive back in, but never published those other recordings because it didn't resonate with me. It wasn't me. It didn't feel like it was me. Um, and if you've been rocking with me since season one, you probably notice like right now, right? It just looks a little different. One, the setting is the same. I never really did videos. I've had like bloopers that I put up on the podcast. So it's still me. It's still going to be hopefully funny. It's still going to be informative, and I'm still going to be my authentic self. But it's just going to be different now. Um, I'm officially stepping into the solo seat, but that doesn't mean I'm doing it all alone, right? This season, I will be joined by some amazing guests from time to time, and people I admire, and people I vibe with, and people who are also figuring it out in real time. And that is important to me. I just wanted to create space where I could go deep, and reflect and explore and give myself the freedom to just talk about life, work, and growth and all of it. I and I'm always gonna have my wine. Well, no, because it depends on the week, right? But I do love a glass of wine, and if you have a glass of wine, pour you some and you join me and listen along. Um, because this has been a journey. Podcasting is something that I've loved for over the years, and so coming back and this being my first one of the year, I'm really happy to be here, and I'm happy you're here with me. So let's be real, right? This year has been the season of shakeups. Um, Last year, let's bring it back. So last year, I took a sabbatical for 6 months. Sabbatical? I said that right. You heard me. I said sabbatical. It was for 6 months just to get my mind right and figure out life and try to figure out what my next steps were. But instead, it ended up a mental health journey because I went into complete executive dysfunction and functional freeze, where mentally I wasn't able to do things that I needed to. And I just focused on my mental health and getting myself together. And that's for another episode. We'll talk about that another time. Um, and then I went back to work. I went back to work and I realized, okay, I don't like what I'm doing. It felt like I was just working for this organization. I was a robot. I wasn't autonomous. And I wasn't feeling like I was really doing my job as a speech therapist. And which I love being a speech therapist, but I feel like with this organization, I was not myself. I was just a robot. It was robotic. It was a perpetual, just like a perpetual Tuesday. It was just doing the same thing every day. Have you ever seen Groundhog's Day? I'm telling my age, but that's what it felt like. It was like the same thing over and over, and it was just so much red tape and redlining, and I felt like I wasn't making a difference. Even though when I left, my families were like, "Oh, we're gonna miss you," and they expressed the impact I made in their lives. So I was making a difference, but I knew one, there was no room for growth for me. With my PhD, I was told that what is it that you could do here with the PhD that I can't? Basically, there was no room for me to grow. So I had to leave. And I went to a new organization, which I'm not going to say their name. They're not worth it. Um, they wanted me to come in as an SOP supervisor. This is what I was told, to come in as an SOP supervisor and look at how their SOP department is ran and see what changes needed to be made, and hopefully for me to move into operations. So they wanted me to come in as a supervisor and, work with the SOPs and the SOPs and see how things were ran, and so I can understand the politics around the organization and the policies, and then that way I can move into operations to help them grow in their speech department. That was the impression that they made. When they offered me the job, they lowballed me, one, my degree, and two, what I was making at the other organization. It just didn't match. So I declined. Then they came back with a counter offer and they acted like they really wanted me. And so I was like, you know what? Okay, I could do that. And so I was like, all right, took it, took the bonus, came in. Guys, day one, day one was insane. Okay. I walked in, um, the owners super sweet. They are sweet people, so I have nothing bad to say about them. Super sweet. We sat down, we talked about the new transition and just what it was gonna look like. They gave me my laptop, set me up, they logged me into their EMR system, and they gave me my schedule for the day. And hold up, it's an 8-hour day, and I had like, I think it was like 10 patients. 10. Never been trained, in an hour of onboarding. So I'm like, huh, but I don't know the EMR system. They gave me a Google Drive doc and said, this is onboarding materials. And I did an hour of onboarding, could not find the onboarding or the training for the EMR system, and started seeing patients back to back that day. Couldn't do the notes because I didn't know how to use the EMR system. They're, they have a director who is pursuing another degree, and she wasn't available the whole time that I was there. She would either answer half my question, somewhat of a question, or disregard my whole question and say, well, what is it that you need? And then I would have to copy and paste my question and be like, I asked this. It was just an absolute shit show. So they put Tuesday, same thing. We put on board in time, but I was backed up in notes. And the SOPs, they were so sweet. They showed me what I needed to do in order. And on top of that, I'm supervising SOPs, supervising SOPAs. And it was just insane. Absolutely insane. And so Wednesday I went and I said, I can't do this. I can't do this. I'm drowning. I I I let them know that it wasn't for me. I've never, in my 10 years of being an SLP, seen something like this. There's no true training. I had no access to training for the EMR system. I was behind in notes. I didn't really get to know my SLPAs. I had a caseload that was insane. It was just, and I still was training and learning the things that they need to, but they put an onboarding time, which was used for essentially workload duties. It did not make sense. And while I was there, one of the SOPs, I'm very transparent. And when I speak, I'm very matter of fact, like, oh, well, why don't you try this? Did you ever think about this? Or, and, just make suggestions. But I would also say, well, what do you think? Because, and we learned each other's styles, our communication styles. And I tried to make sure I adhered to everyone's communication style. But this one person just decided that I was her enemy. And it's always going to be one person. So she created a hate campaign. I was only there for, I want to say, 2 months. Oh, let's bring it back. I was supposed to start on a Thursday. Let's bring this back. with the chaos. It was organized chaos. I was supposed to start on a Thursday. I called them to find out because they told me I was going to get next steps. But I called them, y'all. They said to me, "Oh, we thought you were starting Monday." They forgot that I was starting on a Thursday and had me coming on Monday. That's no idea. And they didn't even pay me for those days, but it is what it is. So she decided to hit campaign. She told everybody in there that I was mean to her. I just don't operate in that manner. I'm not mean to people. That's just, I'm straightforward, but I'm never mean to people. And she said I would collaborate with her, and I tried. Um, we did a team building exercise on the Friday, but 2 weeks ago. I can't remember the dates. I've had this is my second glass of wine. And I was like, okay, this is look like it's gonna go well. And the director, she was like, I loved the activities. I loved how you guys we came to an understanding. We got to know each other. I was like, okay, this is great. And we decided that this is something that we're gonna do often. And I I felt like we connected finally. She got to know me. I got to know the other SLPA. We matched. And they had other things that were going on that I would bring up periodically that I'm not going to talk about that um just they need to get together. And that's not for me to expose them on, but they have a ways to go with how they're running things. And that's on them. I'm no longer there. They'll figure it out along the way. That's not for me. But they have a lot of things operationally that just does not make sense for speech therapy and for SOPAs. And that's on for them to do. And when I would bring it up, they would be more aggressive instead of listening. And that's what, again, not for me, that's for them. I worked that Thursday and Friday with a low grade fever, ended up sick. I was out of commission, had no voice, had no anything. I even agreed to work and do billing and work on like progress notes and things like that. And then that Sunday, this was 2 weeks ago, that Sunday, they sent me a message and said that we're going to meet the video, not online. And I had a doctor's note because they were uncontrollable symptoms. I had no voice. I couldn't stop coughing. And I'm not even going to be graphic, but it was just like, it was disgusting. I could not provide therapy. And that work environment was highly, um, there was no downtime. So there was no way that as a person as sick as I was would have been able to survive in that work environment, essentially. So I met with them that Monday and they let me know that my management and my treatment style no longer aligned with them and they let me go. They try to lowball me in the severance, blah, 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 here nor there. But it just made me think like, is there something else that I'm supposed to be doing? And the reason why I say this is because I started a data science certificate program, right? I've been curious to explore new spaces. I've been looking into content creation and I wanted to podcast again and I've been writing again, which I'm going to give you guys more information about that soon. And I even like with the data science, I started enjoying it and doing web design and web copy with a friend of mine. Um, and the universe, God, the creator, the source, whoever aligns with you, right? I say the universe and I also say God and I also say the creator. So I'm not a person um, to lean on as far as you pick your own spiritual path. Um, God has a funny way of showing you things. The universe will force you to move forward. I've known for about a year, and even with the functional freeze and not being able to move and focus and work and just being depressed and going into this space that being a speech pathologist no longer worked for me. It wasn't something that I felt aligned with. And I felt more aligned with data science. I was enjoying the program, but I was so exhausted by the time I got off. I couldn't continue my certificate and continue the things I was doing and writing and enjoying and creating, which I can be up all night and I don't feel exhausted when I'm doing these things. Whereas as a speech therapist, I'm giving so much of myself. And I feel like I went and got my PhD, and I don't want to be in a career that I hate. I love it essentially. I have private clients that I still see and I still do PRN work, but I'm autonomous. I choose when I want to come in. My patient that I see privately, I enjoy working with them. So it's a different journey for me because I'm autonomous in those aspects and then I'm able to be creative. And so I'm taking this time to just get out of my comfort zone, right? Um, I just want to just be challenged and liberated at the same time and just grow. And I feel like being a speech therapist was not allowing me to do that. It was the mundane. And it was just not for me. It was not for me. Mm-mm. So I'm still figuring it out. And I'm okay with that. I'm in a season of trying, pivoting, getting curious, and not waiting until I have all the answers. Um, I was with a friend today and we were just talking about that. Just being yourself and letting go and trying new things and not being scared and the self sabotage of it all. Um, I have a habit of that. If I have a great idea and things that I want to do, there's so many things that I've tried. Like, for instance, here. I just see this beautiful necklace I have on. It's a cancer necklace for those of you who are not watching the video. And it has a beautiful dangling emblem of our sign, the cancer crab sign. I have beautiful necklaces through Endearest.com. I don't know why I don't support it. I just, people who know support me and they buy and I do pop-up shops, but I don't do what I need to do. I self-sabotage. I'm like, oh, people don't care. People don't care. No, I need to start like caring about things that the endeavors that I go into. Go to Endearest.com, buy a cancer necklace, buy an angel number necklace. I should start supporting myself and encouraging my growth, right? Um, and that's something that I just really want to do now. And that's why I was like, you know what? Getting back to my podcast, I could talk about all the things, meet people and grow and just be myself now, be my authentic self and stop sabotaging myself and telling myself, you're not going to do this. You're not going to be able to. You won't. And for you out there, stop. Just stop. You are worth it. Just because you chose a career and you went to school for something doesn't mean that that's for you. That means it may have been for you at that time or it was a path that you chose, but life is short. And if you feel like you need to pivot, and if you can, right? Because everybody's circumstances are different. And you may be in a situation where you can't. But if you can, or if there's an ounce or just a little tiny bit that, like, okay, I could possibly try and shift to this, or I could take an hour a day to look into this, do it. Because we put so much into our careers. We put so much into our children. I don't have children, but those of you who are moms and dads and parents, you put so much into everyone else, pour into you. And that's what I didn't do. And so that's why, even though I'm Dr. Carmen White, I feel like sometimes just a failure. I do. I feel like a failure. And that's not me. And that's not what who I am. Nope. I don't believe anyone's a failure and I'm not a failure. And I need to stop putting myself in that box. And so that's what I'm doing right now, right? I am letting go of old definitions of success, and creating new ones that feel aligned and not just impressive. And that's what Where Did I Put My Glasses is really about right now, right? Finding clarity in the chaos and catching those moments that make you go, oh, that's what I needed to see. Kind of like with the layoff, like that's what I needed. That's what I needed to see. Um, I needed that to happen so I could start believing in myself. I wake up and not to an alarm when I want to. I do Pilates twice a week. I do soul line dancing. Oh my God. With this woman, Razel, she's amazing. She owns her own dance studio, and the women there, we just get down. I take walks. I enjoy the sun. I eat meals that I make that are, I eat my vegetables. I'm just like enjoying life, right? And that's what I needed to see. I may not have the most money because I'm not working. It's mostly PRN and contracts and um, probably soon unemployment. I have to finish filling that out. Another thing that they did at that sketchy organization, they put that I resigned in my paperwork. And so I'm fighting them to change the paperwork to put that I was let go so I can get unemployment and possibly benefits while I figure this thing out. But things like that, this is what I needed to see and this is what I needed to do. And I just feel like right now I am in such a great space. One, I'm happy to be here with you guys. I'm happy to be recording again. I'm happy to be able to sip my wine and not be judged. I'm happy to choose when I work and journal and work out and feel free. Um, and I've had such a great support system with my friends. And I and even with my family, right? My family's all on the East Coast. I live here in the Bay. I'm in Oakland, and my entire family is in New York. So I only see them through FaceTime and phone calls, and but they've been so supportive and guided, and I just truly enjoy all the advice and the encouragement that they give me to like, no, you can do this, despite the student loan debt. Oh God. Oh, oh. Mm, I didn't take another sip for that. Mm-mm. But that's me because at the end of the day, I am a person. I'm able bodied. I'm able to read, but I came from a world where I truly didn't understand what I was doing with my student loans. And that's back in the day. And now that I'm older, I understand it a little more. And, that's my debt to face, and I'm working on that. And that's me being transparent, right? So accumulating that debt and getting it down and figuring life out and just trying to just survive. Yeah, I know the current climate right now in our country and just everything. And so this season right now is just about that, right? So I'm going to hopefully just put up new episodes every Tuesday. That's the goal. And I'm hoping you guys join me. And if you can, have your wine, have a drink, have your tea, whatever it is that you enjoy, coffee, decaf, espresso, whatever it is, right? And just join me as I go through these honest reflections and these solo deep dives and conversations with guests who are also navigating the real, the raw, and the in between. Um, this is a space for curiosity, connection, and clarity, no matter who you are on your journey. And my journey has been a bumpy one. Let me tell you, um, I will be going into a lot of different things about my life and how things um, ended up where they were, right? I'm pretty sure you all want to know, like, one, if you love speech pathology, but you're not into it and you're more of a creative, how did you get into it? So those are things that I'm going to talk about, how I got into speech therapy and how I got to the Bay and just things like that. Like I want to be able to connect with you guys and take you on this journey and show you what I'm doing and talk to you about what I'm doing. And I just want to be able to share and grow. Um, and get to know people along the way and meet people and bring people in that I I connect with. And I know this episode was just more of me explaining because I feel like I'm doing a complete shift, even though I will still have guests. And hopefully some guests will come along more than once. But I didn't want to just put out an episode that was random and out of the way because I feel like last year it was just episodes and with my co-host, and then I had a temporary co-host, and it was just random, but no explanation of what was going on. And even though today was brief and I didn't really go and dive deep into what has been going on, I will. I will. I will take this time to show and be myself and express what has been happening over this year and why episodes haven't been published, and um, just be myself. So I'm happy you're here. And if there's any part of today's episode that resonated with you, and again, I probably didn't share a lot. I shared just a little about what happened being laid off, and just a tad bit about the functional freeze and executive dysfunction, um, and people may relate to that, especially people who are in the healthcare field. You guys understand. You know that that is something that we go through continuously, especially as people who give so much of themselves to people. We spend our existence given to people, right? And very little is given to us. So if there's any part of today's episode that resonated with you, DM me. Tell me where your your metaphorical glasses have ended up lately. Um, and I want this as a whole to be a shared experience. Your stories matter to me. So if there's something that you want to discuss or you something you want to hear about, I want you to tell me because that's what I'm here for. Um, I also want to leave with this before we go. Um, Again, with my friend today, we were having martinis and we were talking, and she said to me, Carmen, you spend so much time, I've known you for 3 years, and you have so many talents, and you don't share them. You have all of these endeavors that you go into, and you don't finish them, you don't complete them. There's no time to keep focusing on that. You need to do. And we're not going to talk about like everything that her and I discussed that I needed to do. But she put a battery in my back. It made me realize, like, no, I can do these things. I can be a part of these things. I can finish these things. I need to support myself. And she just encouraged me to be here with you today and to be present within myself. And I want you to be present within yourself and go after what it is that you truly want to do, no matter what it is. Don't let yourself or anyone else stop you from being you. And that's what this new season, this is what you're going to see me, my authentic, my raw, unfiltered, no niche, just me. And it's, oh, wait, is it niche or is it niche? You know what? I make up words all the time. I'm gonna lie to you. I make up words all the time. So please. I may have my PhD, but I'm not a wordsmith. And let me tell you, I will make a word up. um, Thank you so much, y'all, for joining me for today's episode. Please, 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 share where did I put my glasses with your family and friends, and click follow or subscribe on your preferred podcasting platform. And give me, yeah, I know y'all want to. To interact with me directly, head over to Instagram and Facebook at Where Did I Put My Glasses, to share your thoughts, questions, or comments on today's episode. And I'm so glad you're here. Um, let's keep finding clarity together. Have a good night, y'all.